when I first saw the truck, it was listed by a local farmer, and they were selling off 80 vehicles from this farm. They just had to get rid of them. And so this is kind of the initial pictures that I took, and a little bit of a walk around video that you can see. It's nasty. Pretty filthy. Just a farm truck. Just a place to store stuff.
A dead mouse. Just gonna clean things out.
Remnants of another mouse. Crazy.
All right. It's my assistant. So this 86 Bronco that I picked up from an old farmer. He hooked it up behind his tractor and would drive across to wherever he was going to be farming, and then he would drive the Bronco back. And when I got it, it was sitting with the windows open, full of dirt. The only thing I think I've done, I vacuumed it out. I think that's all that I've done to it. Well, put air in the tire so that we could tow it here. If you see something I want to point out, got a little bit of rust here. And then the usual we were trying to figure out, it must have been sitting somewhere really hot. Is that one bad too? Oh yeah, it's missing the tail. I mean the spare tire thingy, rack, like that's thingy. Yep. But it's that melted right there, and then this one has melted. So it got a little bit of heat on the driver's side. Try to see if the microphone is on. So when I got it, it had about 4 inches of dirt. I mean, it was nasty, and it's still pretty nasty. There was a power steering bottle that had leaked, and you can kind of see all through that. Well, maybe you can't because of the sunlight, but I vacuumed. All I've done is vacuumed the seats and a little bit of the floor, and I cleaned a bunch of the crud out of this front area, and then I stopped because I wanted to make this video. Have not been in the back yet. We may try to roll down the window here in just a second, but you can just see it's plenty nasty. Shut my dogs up. All right, I'm gonna hand the camera to Josh, and then we're gonna just kind of walk around. We'll pop the hood. One of the reasons I love these Broncos, I never remember where the levers are. Be smarter than your vehicle. My brother-in-law had a, and it's filthy still. My brother-in-law had an 85 F-150. Man, it was a sweet truck, and he let me borrow it one time. And I drove, and I was gone for about an hour and a half. And I turned the corner, coming back to the house, and he was standing out by the road. And I went sideways. I burned a lot of rubber. And he had that truck for 10 years, and I never got to drive it again. He would never let me. So anyway, so what we've seen so far in this thing, this is a 5.8. It's got the there it is, 5.8 4 barrel on this thing, and it's missing the smog belt, which is good. Somebody has wired in a fuel pump, electric fuel pump. We did crank it over one time back in the day. It'll turn on here in a second, but it's not pumping any fuel. God, that's a lot of dust. Anyway, I'm gonna put the battery in it, and then we can see if we can bump it over. I'm not sure. There are all kinds of wires loose now, or they were loose then too, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Well, let's see. Get that one in. That is a long, I'm guessing that's like a 3-foot positive cable. That is long. So I'm sure I'm doing this incorrectly. All right. The light didn't come on. So let's see. I just don't know if that's supposed to be on there and it's just missing the screw, or if that was when they wired in the push button starter. There's a push button starter on it, if that's supposed to be disconnected. I'm guessing it's supposed to be on there. We'll find out here. I'm just going to turn the key on and we'll see if that fuel pump, what it does. That's a fuel pump. Doing its thing, but I'm going to shut that off. Actually, I'm going to see if I can bump it over. No bumpage. That's good, just because I got crappy connections. All of this is correct. So the battery's got a full charge on it. I had it on the battery charger, but it's probably just these connections are just really loose right now, so I'll mess with that later. That's no big deal. But I want to roll down the back window and I want to open up the bed. I want to open up the back, so this will be the first time, long time. So I guess if you want to walk around to the back. Cannot remember procedures for this. Ooh. That sounds horrible. Maybe we don't want to go all the way down. I do want to. You can't open this thing up unless you get the window down.
Yeah.
And I want to clean all that stuff out, but I don't want it to get stuck down. I wonder what the best thing to do is. It'd be nice to have some water and just douse that and get all that sand and stuff off. That sounded horrible, but I gotta try it anyway.
We can get it up and cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we can get it down.
It's catching, I can see. bottomed out push harder.
Yeah.
All right. Take those out. Sounds like my knees. Alright.
Light cover.
No, that's it's a water bottle. I mean, it's for water bottle. It's for the water, like your windshield washers, but it says made in Germany. That's probably not for this car, is my guess. Sweet, an air compressor. There's probably all kinds of chemicals. No idea what that is. There was a rodent that lived here. See rat droppings all along, which does not surprise me. It was a farm truck. That's one reason. The one good thing that the guy did was he popped the hood on everything and he left the windows open, and so rats did not move in and chew everything up. And so that was a good thing. Let's see if I can get some of this stuff out of here. Okay, let's just keep pulling this stuff out. Pause that for a second. Let me just... what that is. Oh, it's a baby doll.
Yeah.
It's like, okay now. This chemical, oh, this is like a helium or a tank.
Air conditioner.
Yeah, it could be
Clean one?
spray on it. It's got dirt in it. Alright. Ooh, danger. Awesome. Cool guard. Oh, that's just antifreeze. That was anticlimactic. More antifreeze, just junk.
Leaking.
Huh?
It's leaking.
Oh, yep. It's antifreeze though. So, there's another YouTube guy that he always looks in the trunk. That's the first place that he looks, because you can tell a lot about what's going on by what's it you find in the trunk. And so there was an empty power steering that had leaked everywhere, so my guess is power steering issues. But he was a farmer, so it could have been, that was a John Deere antifreeze thing. So it could be either for this, or it could have been for just to keep stuff around. Air hose. Empty coffee. Sad. Another air compressor. Bon Air. Oh, it's French. This is probably expensive. Probably paid for itself right there. And, oh, look at there. There's our friend. Yes. Oh, I'm telling you, you never know when you're gonna need that.
Never.
Let's get this thing out of here. Try not to get jumper cable type cables. That will go up there with the other one. My lovely wife smirking at me. Alright. Well, that's about all we can get in here. I mean, I'm not going to climb up in there with all that rat dropping and nest. I'll vacuum that out. I don't want to get the virus that you get from rat droppings, because that's so much worse than coronavirus. Probably can't post that. Somebody's gonna think that I'm mean or whatever. So anyway, I think that's our outside. I mean our inside of the back. Now we just gotta see if we can get this tailgate or window back up. Anything else you think in there that you want to see? I'd like to flip that seat down.
Seat down, yeah.
But I don't want to. I really don't want to breathe in all that crap. So. All right. And let's see. What are our odds? You can do it. Look at that. Awesome. All right, let's open this other side door and take a look in here, and then we'll be done for the day. Has a little dash issue, but it is an 86 model. Here's one of the, there were welding rods. There were a whole bunch of welding rods up in it when I cleaned out the front. There was another dead rat up in the front, or mouse up in the front whenever I cleaned it out. Just be careful. Oh, did you just break it?
No, it's stretchy.
Oh,
I just re-stretched the stretchy.
okay, no, I'm kidding. All right. Let's shut this thing. Solid. They don't make them like this anymore. All right. All right. I think that's.
I'm gonna get the top.
Oh yeah. Can you reach it? Or you want me to?
I'll let you do it. All right. Let's do a little footage over the top here.
Couple of hail dents. There's a little bit of rust right here as well, not much. It's really not bad for an 86. It's been sitting outside in the weather. Tell you what, that tow bar is very handy. Yeah. Oh, and me. All right. So Josh asked me the question when we turned it on and the fuel pump was clicking. What does that mean? And so what it means that we're getting power to the fuel pump, this electronic fuel pump that I guess the farmer installed. This line goes to the tank right here, and then this one goes into the carburetor. Normally this one would go right down into this area to the fuel pump. It's still there on the engine that obviously went out at some point. These are a pain to get to. The easiest way to get to it is you pull off the fuel filter, and then that creates enough of a gap that you can get into that fuel pump and replace it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to yank all of this off and reconnect the original starter and remove the push button starter, because my guess is they put the push button starter on when the fuel pump went out so that they could maybe wire the fuel pump up correctly. In theory, this is supposed to shut off when the engine shuts off, and they may have done that correctly. I haven't traced that out or anything, but I want the original fuel pump to work, and so I'll replace that as well. I did scrape a little bit of the dirt off. This thing was caked with dirt, but all that to say, it clicked really bad. It's just running dry, so it's probably shot. It's just still getting power. I mean, there's a chance it could work. But fuel pumps into here. They've fortunately added one of these little fuel filters here, and then it goes straight into the carburetor. But what I do not see is a return So I'm not sure if that would just cause it to flood. I don't know. I've never hooked up an external fuel pump, so that's news to me as to how it would work. I do know on newer cars, like that Alfa Romeo, it has a return line from the fuel pump, so that when there's too much, that it goes back into the tank, and so that may be under here. I just don't have a clue on that. So all that to say, this is going to get yanked off. I'm going to hook the original line back up. I'm actually going to disconnect this probably in another video. That way when we crank it over, it's not trying to suck anything out of whatever's in the tank or anything. We'll just have to add fuel so that we can get it cranked and maybe started. So that'll come. This is just kind of a walk around. It's, other than it having been dragged behind a tractor and being full of dirt, you know, I don't see any major oil leaks. I mean, there's obviously some on there.
Is there oil in it?
Huh? Yeah, I think I checked. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's black. There's no fuel in it, so that's good. It doesn't even smell burnt. So that's a good sign. Let me pull that valve, that air breather off, and just see how that carburetor looks under there. Without dumping stuff in. I mean, it's filthy. A little bit of rat's nest on the crud on that, but nothing that causes me great concern. So that ought to be good. That's chewed up a little bit. Something was eating on that. That's the one that goes over to the starter, or the push button starter. So I'm gonna put that back on now. Not coordinated. So anyway, that's it.